I hope you enjoyed the last season when we shared about understanding purpose and we went into the whole study of Genesis. I won't recap. Everything is recorded and everything is in our YouTube channel. You can go and enjoy the same. So I want us to go into something that connects to whatever we shared on the first in our first season. And I hope that you will learn from this as I have, and I hope that you'll be transformed. So I want us to go into something I'm dubbing image and likeness. Of course, that takes us to Genesis 1:26. I'm going to define image and likeness. I will go into details of image and likeness and separate the two and show you how the two link and show you go into the principles of dominion, go into the principles of sonship, and I hope that if God permits, we will also go into father-son wineskin or father-son relationship, and demolish some of the things that I think needed to be demolished, like the upcoming doctrines of calling your pastor dad. I think that that is something that I think we will go into. It's sensitive, but we'll go into the same. And so, I hope that you will enjoy and learn us as well. So I will go into Genesis 1:26, and I hope you will read with me. And it says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." Let's stop there and open up a few things about that very script. God said, let us. I think I already defined what he meant by let us when I went into the whole specifics of God speaking to domains and causing life out of those domains to come forth, and how those forms of life depend on their domains to exist. And if plucked or separated from the domains, they wither and die, just like he did with the fish of the sea, just like he did with the birds of the air, just like he did with vegetative growth. When you pluck a tree out of its domain, it dies. The same, when he speaks to himself, he means he is the domain. When you pluck man out of his domain, he withers and dies. And we will begin to see that in Genesis 3. I hope we'll get there, when Adam plucked himself out of the domain, out of the perimeters of God's prescribed way of life. He died. And we'll go into the spiritual death of Adam and all that. But I think I defined let us make. Let us, when God spoke to himself, and he defines himself to us as the domain where we flourish, grow, mature, become sons, become accurate representations of him. But I want us to go into the word make. What did he mean by the word make? And number one, I think I will give a three-dimensional view of the word make according to what I have studied. I believe there are many more trajectories by which you could define the word make. I didn't even go into the English dictionary and all that. I went into the Hebrew. We all know that the scriptures were written originally in the Hebrew text, and that's why most of us go into the Hebrew text and the New Testament in the Greek. And it's important to study those things. I'm not saying that we should become Hebrews or Greeks. I'm just saying that we should study the historical background in which the Bible was written. We should study the context, pretext. We should study the cultures of the people in the time God inspired the writing of scriptures, because that will lead us to understanding more about what God meant in that period, in that time. And that's why we go into the Greek, go into the Hebrew. So when you read I will not bore you with the jargons of Greek and Hebrew. I'll just tell you what it means. So number one definition of the word make is bring forth. So what does that mean? When God says let us make, God is saying let us bring forth. Let us reach within ourselves and bring forth man. Let us make man. So man is born of God. That is what God is saying. That man is an offspring of God. Okay? That man has the inherent ability to be like God. Just like a child has the inherent ability to be like their father by the virtue that they came out from God. Okay? So when a child is born, he is a baby. Most of his organs haven't grown to be like their fathers. But within him is the inherent ability. By the fact that he came out from the seed of man, he has the inherent ability to mature and grow to be like the father. So that is the first meaning of the word make. When God says, let us make, let us reach within ourselves and bring forth, give birth, if you like. Let us bring forth out of ourselves a seed, that within the seed is the inherent ability, after engaging the principles of growth, maturity, and development, this seed can grow to be in our likeness. So the word make is the first, it's like a process. It's the first process. We will see likeness later. Likeness takes a process of maturation, development. And at this point, I will tell you this: you can be in God's image, but not his likeness. Because likeness will require you to submit to the process of development. The fact that you have the inherent ability to be like God doesn't mean you will be in his likeness if you don't submit to the process of development towards being in his likeness. What do I mean? They are sons. I have a father. Francis Mboro is my father. And he bore me. And he has characteristics, he has traits, he has principles, he has a way of life. And he's born again. He raised us in the ways of God. So that means in my formative birth stage, I had the potential within me to be like Francis Mboro. But if I don't submit to his process, then I will not be like Francis Mboro. My flesh, my head, my ears, and my outward appearance will take the form of Francis Mboro, but my character, my nature, my principles, my way of life require that I submit to him, so that now I can exude the principles that he lives by, so that when you see me function and conduct myself, you will see someone who is like Francis Mboro. So I am in the image of Francis Mboro, but without the process of submission, I will not be like Francis Mboro. I will just have the ability to be. Okay, so that is the first thing I wanted to establish. When God said, let us make, he already gave us the ability by making us, by bringing us forth from himself. We have the ability, we have the potential, and it's inherent. Inherent here means we can inherit the nature of God by the fact that we are born out from God. So when he said let us make, he meant let us give man the ability inherently to become like us. That's make. The other principle I would want to go into, if I still have time, is make also. Thank you. Make also means fashion, furnish. Let us fashion man. Let us, and this is, I'm repeating myself. Fashion here means that God already wants to custom make you. God already has a template by which he wants you to look like. There's a template that God wants you to fashion you like. And then it also means furnish. So make, I don't want to lose you. Make means bring forth, out from, give birth. So God says, let us make, let us bring forth. And then after we've brought forth, let us fashion man in our image and in our likeness. And I think this takes us to a portion of scriptures where it gives the analogy of God being a potter and you being the clay. So all these stem out of this principle of let us make, let us fashion. So there's a so you are supposed to be you're supposed to give yourself to be fashioned according to what God already saw. All right. And the third principle I would want us to go into, I'm rushing because I don't have time. I just want to introduce this and then we will go into the details, is appoint. Let us make also means let us appoint. So I hope you can see the process. Bring forth, out from, fashion, and also furnish. Give him all the abilities he needs, all the proclivity, all the inherent, all the intrinsic values that he needs. Furnish him with all the things. This is why I say your hand is as is because God wanted it to be like that for a purpose. He fashioned, he gave you that hand as a furnish. He furnished you with that hand. He gave you that head. He gave you that eye. He gave you that mind, be it sharp or dull, by whatever standards you define it. That is a furnishing that God is doing. So all this is to the end that whatever he saw before he made you might come to be. And then appoint. Let us make also means let us appoint. So after we've brought forth, we've given him the inherent ability, we fashion him, we give him everything he needs, and then now we appoint. All this is in the word make. Appoint here means the same way I would tell somebody like Ben, I want to make you my PA, or I want to make you my videographer, I want to make you my boss, I want to make you. The word make here means I want to appoint you. I want you to function in that specific position. When I say I will make you my boss, it will only be prudent of you to study what that position requires of you to do. So when God says I want to make you in my image here is not only whatever we see it to be, it's also a position. God wants you to function in the position of image. He wants you to function in the position of likeness. He wants to make you that which he wants to make you function like. So I hope you've seen these three things, and I will stop at that. I mean, if these things, we can continue with this conversation later on in our comment section and in all that. I hope these things are being understood by you, and I hope you can grasp it. I want to make it as simple as it is. So till next time, that was my time. Shama writes. Join us for episode 2. Bye.